And we begin with B's everywhere. Monday, San Francisco Giants taking on the Cincinnati Reds. This caused all kinds of delays, but never fear, a second baseman by the name of Dietrich steps in. They call infielders, Mark, utility men, guys that can do just about anything for you. Derek took that to the next level. Treavor Scales in for Phil Murphy. He's irreplaceable, but I'm just going to stand in and pitch hit for a little bit. Welcome into Caps Off. That is Mark Donaldson.
I thought that was like Ghostbusters, the outfit that you used to get in there. Yeah, what a week it's been for the Cincinnati Reds, Treavor, because they've had mixed fortunes. We'll get to the downside shortly, but the positives, how about this? Something that hasn't been done since 2007. The Cincinnati Reds taking on the San Francisco Giants. 3 home runs, fine, that happens quite a bit, off 3 straight pitches. How about that? Eugenio Suarez hit at 338. Jesse Winker hit at 408. And Derek Dietrich took off his Ghostbusters costume to do that. Poor old Samardzija got absolutely how about the stash? You like?
Oh, it's a beautiful stash. Nothing that I could pull off personally. Now, did you know, by the way, the Reds' 5th team in the last 20 seasons to hit back-to-back home runs on 3 straight pitches? You mentioned this earlier, Mark. Last team to do it, Dodgers, June 12th, 2007.
Drama at the Oakland Coliseum.
I told these guys that, I was going to start picking them up, especially in this park. Got to be aggressive. You want them to put the ball in play. I trust my defense.
Mike Fiers, for the 2nd time in his career, has thrown a no-hitter.
2 sides of the coin for the Reds. The good side at the weekend with the home runs, 3 back-to-back, and then they ran into the Oakland A's pitcher, Mike Fiers. Now, this is a bit of a journeyman pitcher, okay? He's not bad, but he had an ERA, an earned run average of 6.81, so he's been hit quite a lot prior to taking on the Cincinnati Reds. His ERA's not quite 6.81 anymore, is it? It's
not
going
anymore.
This way.
Yeah, it absolutely, and in a good way. Mike Fiers goes the distance, 9 full innings, 27 outs, not a single batter gets a hit, but he gets some help in order to get the no-hitter, his 2nd of his career, and it begins with Jurickson Profar in the 6th, laying out for that catch.
This is actually a really good catch. Now, you need a little bit of help from your friends. He did have a couple of walks, so a couple of players reached base due to walks. And this one, star first baseman for the Reds, Joey Votto, he's got to think he's got the home run. However, Ramon Laureano thinks otherwise. A little bit of help from your friends there. But still, remember, he was told after 7 innings and 109 pitches, if there was another base runner, he'd be pulled. Then Eugenio Suarez swung at that one, missed at that one. That was the final out with the curveball. And there is Major League Baseball no-hitter number 300 in history. How about that?
They play over 2,400 games each MLB season, Mark. And as you can see, no-hitter doesn't happen all that often. Only 37 in the past decade, this decade rather. 34 in the 60s, 31 in the 90s and 70s respectively.
And it's a multiple no-hitter. It's his 2nd of his career. Now, notable defensive plays and no-hitters. We already saw that wonderful catch from Ramon Laureano. How about this one? Dwayne Wise to prevent Mark Burley from losing his perfect game for the White Sox.
Now, in 2012, Gregor Blanco runs a very long distance himself. He makes the diving catch to help out his boy on the San Francisco Giants, Matt Cain, to save his no-hitter. Again, just phenomenal plays in the field being made.
I was in San Francisco for the US Open Golf at the time and went to the pub instead of going to the ball game that I had a ticket for. Not that I'm bitter. Steven Souza with a diving catch. Jordan Zimmerman's on for a no-hitter, and he ended up getting it with a little bit of help from his friends. But what's your favorite catch to save a no-hitter from those one? You can vote on Twitter at MLB London Series. Was it Ramon Laureano for the Oakland A's earlier this year, Steven Souza for the Nationals in 2014, Gregor Blanco for the Giants that we won't talk about in 2012 when I was in San Francisco, or Dwayne Wise for the White Sox in 2000.
So since we're on the theme of people making great defensive plays, why don't we move to some web gems? We'll start out with a ground ball, hits sharply to second baseman Starlin Castro. Castro picks it and turns the double play at first.
Pretty good.
Yeah, not bad, right? Like, just scoop that one up, one motion, get up, throw to second. Your second baseman helps you out as well.
That was at 3. This is 2. Twins against the Yankees. Deep fly ball, Cameron Maben. He's not going to... Oh, my goodness, he is. How high does he leap here? Wow, that's about 8.5, 9 feet, that wall.
I'm sure you can get up over there, right? Number 1, Giants taking on the Reds. A whole lot of Cincinnati Reds, by the way, in this show, and I'm not mad at it. Kevin Pillar scales the fence, makes the catch. We'll run it back for you just so you can see for sure. That is acrobatics on another level.
Watch me, watch me, watch me.
When New York Yankees catcher Gary Sanchez hits a baseball, it stays hit. He should be involved this weekend for the Yankees against the Rays, and of course in the Road to London series. We're in May now, and then in June, the 29th and 30th. And you'll be seeing more, hopefully, of this. How about that? 118.3. You do that in your car, you're facing some serious jail time.
You would be in trouble. Launch angle at 20 degrees. We've got all the stats you could ever ask for. The apex over at 60. He's been crushing the ball lately, and it reached over 400 feet to finish. Later in the series is Sanchez, another one. 114.7 miles per hour right off the bat with a 25-degree launch angle. This man is doing his thing at the dish, if you will.
Look at the height. Look at the apex. 95 feet. That one travels. How about that for a graphic? That one is gone. Now, the hardest hit home runs of the week, and he has got the top 2. You've got to think Joey Gallo at 114.4 thinks he's got the hardest. Doesn't work like that, Joey.
Now, if you haven't quite noticed yet, Phil Murphy not with us, but don't you worry, he will be in just a moment. Now, Mark, I have trouble picking out a Premier League team.
What about premiers? No, don't just...
I know.
You normally say premier.
You're absolutely
now you've
right.
changed it to
I
the...
did.
You've anglicized it. I'll give you that one. Who's your Premier League team?
I think I'm going with Liverpool.
Okay, because Phil's a Man City fan.
Okay.
As well, okay? So, if you are maybe wondering, it's a big weekend of football, but if you're wondering who to support, then how about comparing some of the MLB teams and some of the Premier League teams? That's what our friend Phil Murphy has done to help you along.
Thanks, boys. And Mark, if you're anything like me, people have hit you up on social media and say, who do I support? Well, I'm here to help, looking at who you might support in the Premier League and making a major league recommendation going through the Big Six. Let's start off with the easiest one. Manchester United have the most English league titles. The Yankees have the most World Series titles. How about United's most bitter rival, Liverpool? Well, they share an ownership group with the Red Sox, and the Red Sox recently, famously, snapped an 86-year title drought. Liverpool are looking for their first league title since the early 1990s. How about the team with whom Liverpool are in that tight title race in England this year, Manchester City? They recently opened their checkbooks and suddenly their annual threats to be Centurions, much like the Houston Astros, who the last 3 seasons have won 100 games. Head to London. Chelsea, it seems like every other season they're in a race for the English title, much like the San Francisco Giants. And if you look at prices of flats around Stamford Bridge and apartments in San Francisco, they're both extortionately high. Staying in London with Arsenal, big city, big spenders, and if we're being honest, in the second half, they seem to fade, much like my beloved New York Mets. I can admit it. Other half of the North London derby, Tottenham Hotspur, proud, blue-collar region, much like Cleveland. And the Indians, Mark and Trev, won their last world title in 1948. Spurs are still looking for their first domestic league trophy since 1961.
Very good, Philip. I think you enjoyed that.
I was impressed.
Enjoyed that. Now, with the time difference, if the MLB players who like their football want to see the build-up and the finale to the Premier League, they'll be able to do so. There are a lot of baseball players who love the Premier League in England, and when we were at spring training, we caught up with a few of them to find out who their favourite players were.
I like Manny. I got a chance to meet Manny. I got his cleats, and he's just a humble person, special person, and he's doing a lot for his country, and you got to respect that.
I'd have to say Ronaldo is probably my favorite player. of all time. Right now, De Bruyne is freaking awesome.
Probably Pogba. I like the way Pogba plays and his flair and the hair and the dancing. So, I mean, he's a good guy to watch out for.
I think I just have an appreciation for their skills and, you know, the things that they're able to do on a soccer field and do with the ball. I mean, it's unbelievable to me. I don't know if I have a favorite player, but I think, you know, I'm in awe of all of them.
Now, we're going to allow Justin Upton to choose Ronaldo, kind of, because he played at Man United. Right, that is quite a thing. This is what a thing. Keeping with the football theme, minor league, never mind the uniforms. How about pitcher Javi Assad, who fumbled the ball, then kicked it to his first baseman for the out? Unbelievable play.
Heady play. May the 4th be with you is the turn of phrase that we like to use on May 4th, Star Wars Day. Unreal that CC Sabathia came in dressed as the shortest possible character on Star Wars. Aside from R2-D2, maybe? I think that was a twist.
I mean, he's only 6'6", so he's not exactly going to get noticed. How about this? Cool fan moment. Cubs star Javi Baez giving his batting gloves to a couple of kids. Look at his reaction. That is so sweet. Dad's like, yeah, quick. Need to put this on social media straight away. Yeah. So, gender reveal, Trev, isn't that big a thing? It's getting bigger in the UK. What do you think, boy or girl? Jason Kipnis of the Indians.
Getting the celebrity assist. Another heady play to finish out What a Thing.
Brett Anderson, the A's pitcher, showing some love for the UK A's. And now, as they say, maybe my favourite ever player now. I love seeing fans with smiles on their faces because of what the players do. And you've always got a smile on your face.
Always. I can't help but enjoy myself out here. How'd I do? We do all right? Just for a little pinch hitting effort?
Phil who? You'll get next week, boys and girls. For now.